Hello and welcome to the show. I am here today on BeamNG Drive, and as you can tell by the title of this video, yes, we have got a potential for a driven till destruction. I'm not going to say course because this is not a lap circuit. This is a point-to-point. We are starting here. My end goal is, well, actually here. Now, as you can see, it's not a particularly long drive. However, the actual route, as you can see, making its way wibbling into the distance, is quite long and quite challenging for these vehicles. So yeah, we're going to send these vehicles down here. If you've not seen this series in the past, I guess this is kind of like a trial run to see if people like the course, and it's. I've done some test runs, and just see if people like the course and how it might all play out when it's actually being filmed. Now, so a couple of things. You haven't seen this as I haven't seen this series before. Cars are driven fast down a very damaging road. This will test their durability. Now, oil pans are, as ever, a potential weakness for vehicles, but that is just Beam in general. But yeah, I'm not allowed to just go along at like 5 miles an hour and cruise along here. It's got to be driven pretty damn hard, and you know, we will damage the car as we go. Now, one thing I will absolutely say is that this, well, there goes the oil pan. That's not a great start for the LeGran here. This road that I am driving along is not supposed to look like this. You can tell it's been adjusted by me because it's janky as anything. It does work, it does do the job, but yeah, this is on the map originally. It is quite a fun map. I will of course link it, but this is a dirt road. This is like a sandy, dusty trail, which, while very fun in a trophy truck, you have to have decent power all-wheel drive cars, otherwise just stuff doesn't work down here. So I, in a rather bodged way, because I don't really know what I'm doing, have converted it to be like a dusty dirt road with horrible bumps. Like, the bumps are still there that would be there, but the actual terrain is exactly the same. It's just the surface is different, and it's a little bit janky, so it doesn't quite look right. I appreciate that. That is not for the mod maker's fault, that is mine. So, yeah. LeGran is already not looking particularly great. This is never likely to be a crazy strong car. Front-wheel drive is normally not a big fan of this sort of route, because your front wheels do your steering and your driving, which means any damage to them is a big problem. Not ideal for this. Like an all-wheel drive car, you lose a wheel, you'll be fine. Front-wheel drive, okay, the rear, admittedly, you can lose a rear wheel and it doesn't matter, but it's rarer to lose a rear wheel because, you know, over the jumps, you're hitting the front of the car. You know, you lose a front wheel in this car and you're probably done for. I doubt this has a locked diff or locking diff, so we're, you know, going to end up with no drive. But yeah, I mean, the oil pan is a possible weakness for just about everything around here. We start with the engines. Oh, not preheated. That's a big crunch. This might be another big crunch. No, we're fine. We got away with. Oh, that's a tighter corner than I realised. Okay. Did not know that was coming up. We need some pace notes going on. That's on me. That's not the car's fault. I will say, while this course, it's much more open than we have seen from some of them, steering failure is still possible if I physically am unable to make it around a corner, due to, you know, having no steer. If I have to start grabbing reverse to make it around a corner, the car will fail by virtue of a lack of steering. I love how bent in the roof has got. Oh, the radiator's gone now. We haven't rolled it, right? This is just from the bending the chassis. We didn't have a roll at some point. That I've rolled so many cars now, it just doesn't even register sometimes. We haven't rolled. How? That's actually quite impressive. Just kind of folding the car up over these bumps. The oil is overheating. Now, it's not the longest of routes, so if the oil pan... say it's not the longest of routes. The oil pan radiator survives long enough, we may well be able to make it. Some cars... Some vehicles can go further, overheating. Some vehicles will go better with oil. I don't know if oil pan damage is always the same. I don't know whether they can sort of slowly tick down oil. I've had some cars survive for quite a long time. This one is not going to be one that survives for quite a long time, is it? Conrod bearings are damaged. That's a problem. That's the sort of problem that you don't want going on. And we're, I don't know if we're about halfway through, maybe. Not ideal. Not ideal for the LeGran here, but we're going to continue. We just made a flatmobile out of it. Alright, oh yeah, it's starting to conk out a little bit here. We will also, of course, have the crawler rule that we put in place. The previous ones, basically, if the car gets to the point where it can no longer exceed 20 miles an hour, it will be eliminated, because sometimes, it's rare, but sometimes you can have a car damaged in such a way that it can kind of limp along very low speeds, and you know, not actually, much like I said at the start, you can't just go very slowly because it's boring. But yeah, if it's stuck there, it can happen, so they get eliminated for being essentially too slow, because you know, you go along at 10 mile an hour, you're not going to do any sort of further damage to it. But yeah, I don't think this is long for this world. It's made a good stab of it, I will say. Oh, this hill's going to kill it. Oh, poor engine. It's definitely, I mean, there's some steep hill. I actually do think some of these hills, if you had a car that was being, you know, really down on power, had drive issues, so it couldn't exceed 10, 20 miles an hour, I actually think it might struggle on some of the hills here. There are some steep sections that these dying engines are not going to like. This section here, the suspension doesn't really like. LeGran, are you gonna... No, you're not gonna be great here. Still going. I'm actually impressed with this engine. I thought it was gonna go pop a lot sooner than this. I mean, it's not healthy. These hills are going to kill it. It's fine. Can we have a downhill? The head gasket's gone. There's now a lot more smoke and steam and dust, and the engine's starved. The engine's got bigger problems than... Well, I guess the oil is quite a big problem. Oh. Come on. It's dying. I don't think it's getting up this hill. I mean, I might get over this one. Is it getting up the... Oh, okay, the next one's not as high as I thought it was. Gravity, help me! Well, with the going down bit, it's not going to help me with the going up bit. That's the engine gone. That's the engine's gone pop, hasn't it? There's no... Yeah. That's the end of the LeGran. That's the end of the LeGran. Honestly, it is quite an impressive level of damage that has gone on here, with radiator and oil pan. I'm not even sure. It's probably a combination of both. I presume it was the oil pan death, really, but the overheating will have killed it as well. Yeah, we've got to go back that way yet. It's a fair way. I mean, the finish line's only somewhere over there, but we've got a lot further to go. Good effort. I think it's a good first effort from the LeGran. It is impressive how much we have managed to bend the chassis of that and kind of fold it into a flatmobile. But anyway, we move on to something, I mean, hopefully better. Now, of course, as is tradition, if we have a police spec, we will often use it. These can be pretty strong. We've got a BX series coming up next. This time we're going rear-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive may be slightly better than front-wheel drive, and we know the BX is a pretty tough car in general. Ooh, okay, not as much grip there as I thought there was going to be. We got a bit too carried away. So yeah, rear-wheel drive, generally a little bit better than front-wheel drive. There is a downside to rear-wheel drive, of course. Majority of them are going to be front-engine rear-wheel drive, and what that means, we have not got much grip on this sort of dusty asphalt surface. Nowhere near as much grip as I was expecting there to be. But yeah, the big downside with this car and rear-wheel drive cars is generally the drive shaft. Now, we'll probably see it from muscle cars and the like more than this. The BX is pretty strong, but you saw the state of the chassis, the roofline in the LeGran, and well, if you've got a drive shaft going from the front to the back and your chassis buckling and bananaing like that, that's not great. That is not great. That is not what you want going on. So, well, that's a fairly minor hit to have done. Oh, that's going to be a way bigger hit. That's fine. We've lost a hubcap and a bit of bumper. Because it was a fairly minor hit that did induction system damage. Now, it's not the end of the world. We can, if the turbos die completely, we will still work. We will lose power and everything. I am surprised that hit did the damage that it did. The much bigger hit was a big concern for that front left wheel, but the wheel is okay. It's definitely not right. It's definitely twisted in a bit, but it's driving good enough. I mean, going in a straight line on this road is difficult enough. I say difficult enough as it is, but you're not really going to notice the tracking being out a smidge on this one. It's out by a lot, sure, but you're spending half your time bouncing around and half your time... Oh, God. Yeah, you're not really going in a straight line very much, so it's fine. It's not majorly affecting the handling. If we do start taking more damage, it might start becoming a problem if this thing is prone to more oversteer. Oh, that suspension actually doing a pretty good job there. Considering, oh, these are, you know, way harsher bumps than you would expect a car like this to deal with. It is holding together pretty well. Back end wanted to let go. Yeah, it is actually holding together pretty well on this. Oh, that's the sort of hit. That's the sort of hit, because the thing is, with a car like this one here that is holding together quite well, what you might start seeing is it's going faster in places that other cars don't, which makes bumps into much bigger jumps, or changes landing zones, makes landing zones a lot harsher, all of that kind of thing. So, yeah, you will potentially find different problems. In this series in general, things like rally cars have actually had a tough time, because even with a little bit of damage, they can still go very, very fast, so they find bigger jumps, they have bigger crashes. The quicker the car, the bigger the crashes you are generally going to get from them. Is that some rear suspension damage? It looked like a lot of camber all of a sudden. Can't tell. It's quite soft suspension, which is very much helping it at the back. No, I think it's okay. It may be a little bit sort of damage, a little bit buckled. Oh, that's not good. Engine damage, that's not what I was expecting to see. Engine damage before radiator damage does surprise me there. We did land on the front. It's pushed the bumper up, but nothing too bad in the grand scheme of things here. Right, come on. BX. Oh, bumpy. Uh-oh. Oh, it was a big crunch on the back, but it's fine. That actually kind of worked alright. It was a surprisingly big jump, and I wasn't quite expecting, or wasn't quite prepared for it. However, it at least landed fairly smoothly, which is important for the vehicles, because there's just, you know, less jump. It was a little bit of a slap on the rear of the car, but in general, it wasn't too bad. Now, one of the things you can see is fuel tank. I can't remember if the BX has got a slightly vulnerable. I think it's got a slightly vulnerable fuel tank, but that's more from like rear end crashes. I seem to remember having one in a Stop the Beast or something that was very easy to get it to leak fuel. Like I was the Beast, of course, hitting the BX. But yeah, I guess there is a little concern for that. My main concern would be drive shaft with a car like this, outside of the general overheating. Like overheating an oil pan, number one. Damage problems. For a car like this, I would possibly say drive shaft. Although the BX, we know the BX is really tough in general here, so I mean, it's putting up a very good show. Uh-oh. Maybe less of a good show now. Nope, it's got a... Oh. It's fine. Astonishingly, it is fine. Oh, and I didn't even need to node grab. So I'm allowed to node grab cars and flip them onto their wheels if they go upside down. I'm not allowed to turn the engine off. If it takes me a while and they're running upside down and they damage themselves, well, that's the punishment for rolling, if you like. That's got... Oh, well, we're going to go for another roll, are we? No, don't fall off the side of the cliff. More because I'm lazy and it's difficult to get you back up there. Right. We are fine. Oh, the engine has turned off. That just stalled. It did not break down. That's fine. I can see... I can see where the LeGran got to. There's a little plume of smoke going on. Oh, jeez. Okay, we are now going much faster down here, and these are much bigger jumps, although we're fine. We've taken up the light bar, but we've restyled the BX. However, you know, the LeGran was dying for a while at this point. The BX is surprisingly fine. We've got no radiator issues. We've got... Don't say that. Don't say that when I'm about to go flying through the air. No radiator issues. No, surprisingly, no oil pan issues. The engine is slightly damaged and another hit on it could break it. I knew I'd do it. I mean, it was going to happen at some point. Christ, the front of this car is smashing into the ground. That radiator is going to let go at some point here. Bigger issues is that front left now. We've started losing steering. You can actually see how much the wheel is wobbling over there. It's not critical. Like, we do still have enough control. That's a humongous jump. That is a humongous jump. And that is definitely going to be the end. It held on very, very well. It held on very, very well indeed. That was a tremendous jump. And I mean, the drive shaft was always going to be a potential hazard. Honestly, considering that the chassis is not too bad, I guess maybe it like shocked the engine and like pushed the engine down, like in there. because we're pushing the front up, so that's going down, and maybe that's what snapped the drive shaft. Considering the other hits that survive with hardly an issue, that's a hell of a drop though. That is a hell of a drop that is not going to be, well, I mean, it's a drive shaft failure. It did very, very well up until that point. It was mighty impressive, actually, up until that point. However, yeah, that is a dead BX series. Now, the final vehicle to run through the course. We have got, this is the Sunburst, this is the Comfort Wagon, I believe was the name for it. It's not going to be a comfortable ride here, I can tell you that much, but it is all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is brilliant for this. Not only do we, of course, have more traction, but if we lose wheels, as I said, we can lose any one wheel on this car, and the vehicle will be fine. The only downside, really, with all-wheel drive is sometimes you can get, like, front wheels twisted underneath the car, and that can... and still be driven, and it can kind of be fighting against the way of drive. But in general, all-wheel drive is the way to go. And this thing's got a bit of ground clearance about it, which is good, which is what you want. You know, having a little bit more ground clearance, maybe a little softer suspension, a little more compliant, is probably helpful. Now, while I will say, as I said before, you know, we have got to drive through this course as hard as possible. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be going on the brakes. We've still got to keep control of the car, make the various corners. Oh, so yeah, there will be times where you're on the brakes because you've got to slow down for sections and so on. Because you do actually have to turn. Well, we've lost a brake light. That's fine. With the bodywork's coming off a bit. The Comfort Wagon is... I'm not sure, as I said, I'm not sure about the level of comfort going on in the wagon, but it's fine. So if I managed to open the rear door. We always open both rear doors, I think. It is quite extreme elevation changes around here. It is definitely pretty extreme. Almost fell over. Almost fell over on that one. Not quite. Not far off, though. Bounce around over there. That's fine. We will climb the hill. Also... mostly fine. Rear bumper is still... kind of would like the rear bumper to ping away. And now one of the things with this, again, if the rear bumpers and so on get caught, I'm allowed to no grab myself to right myself. I'm allowed to no grab debris out of the way if it gets under the car. However, no grabbing debris out of the way, can sometimes damage the car further, and I don't really want to have to do it if I don't have to, but... the rear bumper, if it comes off, will normally just get spat out the back, so it's not likely to be a problem. Ooh, that's a big crunching blow. It's fine. I mean, Sunbursts have normally been pretty good at this, like driven till destruction stuff. I don't know about the wagon, of course. It is new. But yeah, the Sunbursts have generally been pretty tough. Just all-wheel drive and with half-decent suspension is going to do it. You will also notice, and I will say this now, I don't have the ESC on. I will, while I'm not modifying these configs, certainly not for this, I will turn off any ESC that I can, because sometimes, especially with damaged cars, that can kind of kick in and make them completely undrivable, because, you know, sometimes they're spinning wheels up because wheels are busted, and it's just, yeah, terrible. So if I can turn it off, I will turn it off, because I really don't want to deal with that going on. But so far, I mean, you know, the front bar, like, so far this is just visual. I don't even think we've got any tracking issues going on for the moment, but we know that this course gets tough. This course gets tough. There are big drops, there are big jumps to come, and we've not seen the last sort of third of this course so far. In testing, I do know this course is doable, but yeah, the Sunburst is again, it's off to a good start. Try to keep my foot down and save it. We'll visit the sand. If we go too far off, you know, like this rock surface, we will end up with we'll end up in the sand, which is quite deep sand. We'll get out of it with the Sunburst, certainly, but yeah, don't want to go out there unnecessarily. Yeah, it's all looking pretty promising. So, while for the BX, you know, I know what the potential pitfalls, again, overheating, oil pan are the big pitfalls for this. Drive shafts are possible to kill in these all-wheel drive cars. You you just get a second chance essentially, because if I lose the rear drive shaft, I'll still be front wheel drive. If I lose one of the front half shafts, then I'm still rear wheel drive and it'll work. Can still be done though. It certainly has happened. Steering might be my bigger concern with a car like this. If we lose steering or something, or we, land on a front wheel awkwardly, that's probably more likely to take out the steering rather than the drive shafts. Because as I said, we'll get away with maybe losing one drive shaft along the way. But yeah, if we can lose steering completely, that is a potential problem. It seems to be holding up pretty well. Don't fall over, like we saw with the BX. You can have, oh, that's not the way to go through there. I thought that looked like a slightly less bumpy route. Nope. No, it was not. Okay, well, now we have, as I said, you can lose a drive shaft. We have become we've become a ski slope. We've got a jump, like a skateboard jump. We've made a skateboard ramp out of my Sunburst. Yeah, we are now a front-wheel drive Sunburst. Not great, but it is. Well, I say it's not great. Actually, its handling is pretty good. I wouldn't even be able to tell you that it was a front-wheel drive car, particularly at the moment. Doesn't really feel like it's lost anything. That's great. That's remarkable resilience. Now, of course, the problem with being a front-wheel drive car, I'm a little bit concerned about some of these huge dips. Ooh, and like that. Don't know how tough. I know the Sunburst is tough and everything. We know up here is the big drop somewhere that killed the BX. Okay, now I'm starting to feel the front-wheel drive a little bit in a couple of places. Oh, there's this one here, wasn't it? Oh! It's fine. Didn't even take the... No, don't bloody... If I say it, I know what's going to happen next jump. Well, we lost the front bumper. So this is one of the slightly peculiar thing. We have seen it a little bit. It's not exactly a science, but the front bumper does offer a little bit of protection to the radiator to a point. So now we are potentially a bit more likely to break the radiator rather than... rather than the bumper. It's just, another layer of protection, like a piece of armour, a very flimsy piece of armour, and it's not exactly, you still lose a radiator with the front bumper on, of course, but, I like to try and keep them there if at all possible. I don't know what line I want through here. We're trying to spot a line through here that's big jump as well. Not that, again, it was kind of managed to land mostly on the downward slope part of that, which has helped us mitigate any damage. That's going to be another big pit. No? Okay. Well, it was a big pit. It's just, we weren't quite going fast enough. I think we've lost a little bit of speed being converted to front-wheel drive. I'm guessing some... who knows what. We definitely feel like I've lost a little bit of speed, so some of these bumps and jumps are not as horrific as they could be. That is a horrible hill. If you are in a dying car, this one here is also going to be a horrible hill. Oh... Actually not, again, like it's a big amount of airtime there, but the landing zone's pretty good, so the Sunburst can get away with it. The other thing I haven't mentioned, of course, with these vehicles, especially with some of the strong vehicles in this, again, this thing is keeping relative speed. Sometimes you can just get unlucky, and this does feel like a car that might, well, at this point, it feels like a car that might be a one-hit KO. It might be just one awkward jump. And admittedly, the BX was a little bit like that. It was, well, visually a bit damaged. Mechanically, it was pretty strong up until it really all of a sudden wasn't. And that can definitely do it. It's the front sort of half shafts. They're the concerning part. Ooh, it's fine. That's another big hit. The Sunburst is strong. The Sunburst wagon is bloody tough. I will give it that. A lot of these hits, I'm thinking, no, the radiator's going to go, the oil pack, it's tanking a lot of them. I am very impressed, Sunburst. You are doing well. And that sort of hit is kind of like the sort of smashing the front end back onto the ground on the landing is a potential cause for concern, but it dealt with it. It dealt with it all very, very well. We are much further through this course than anything else has got. I don't think we are. We can see the ocean over there as that's where the edge of the map is. We've got to loop around a little bit more before we get there, but we are not doing too badly here. Looking at the temperature as well, temperature is okay. Sometimes with these like base game configs, you end up driving them hard and they can overheat on their own. It's a little bit warm. Ooh, hello bumps. That's not ideal. Skidding along on the side, in theory, doesn't do too much to the car. The only problem is that if you've got the wheel, like one of the steering slightly turned, it can pluck a wheel off or bend a wheel off. It didn't happen. I think I was off the steering when it happened. You know, that was a relatively, in the grand scheme of damage on this car, sliding along on your doors is not particularly a problem for it, as long as it doesn't pluck the front wheels off, which it did not. That's another really big drop. It was a big drop, but it was okay. Oh, okay, well, I know roughly where we are, because that's the really tight left-hander that we slid off the course with the BX on. It's fine. Everything is okay. I can see the edge. We're getting there. Sunburst, could you do it? Could you prove? Oh, that's a lot of understeer through. Ooh, there's a bump there. Didn't know about that one. Christ. No, don't say it. Don't say it, because we know what the curse of the commentator is like. That is probably if you go quick enough, I reckon you could double that, like a motocross section, and you could probably get a pretty good landing. We were not going fast enough because we hit a bump on the approach. That would be it'd be a risky. It would, yeah, it's definitely dangerous doing that. Come on, climb up the hill. Still got the traction and the power and the drive and everything to climb up the hill. That's good. Where is this finish line? It's got to be close. I can actually see like the edge of the map, like the wall, the sand wall that denotes the map. Oh, that's a huge jump! Don't break it there. But if you break the radiator now, I don't think it's going to matter. If you break a drive shaft, that's the bit that does matter. Through here, oil pan, don't care. We'll still drive. We'll make it to the finish line. We have got possibly one more jump to do. We can probably coast it to the line now. The Sunburst is going to make it. Woohoo! Oh. Oh. Oh no. Yep, that's what I meant to do. Perfectly parked. It's perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I'm not going to be able to get off of here either, because it's the front wheels that are driven. Oh, Sunburst bloody did it. I am really impressed. That is a punishing route. That is a really punishing route. The BX put up a very good fight. In the end, though, the sudden drops just killed the drive shaft. And while we ended up as a two-wheel drive machine here, it ended up as a perfectly functioning skateboard ramp and two-wheel drive machine. So yeah, I mean, it's beached now. We've got up to the top of there. We go. That is a hell of a performance from the Sunburst. Sunburst has been generally pretty good here, but that took some really big hits. I'm amazed the radiator, like making it with a busted radiator and oil pan, sure, can happen if you break them late enough in the route, but to make it without any of that having broken and the car looking like that, I'm incredibly impressed. But there we go. That is a look. I'll put a link to this map in the description. As I said, this road I have changed it surface-wise. The route and terrain is exactly the same as the one you can download, but that is a sand route. There's plenty of other off-roading stuff as well. If you want to have a go with this map yourself, and do let me know if you like this as a route. It's the first time I come across a possible sort of driven till destruction route in a long, long time. So yeah, do let me know if you like this. That though is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.